Hey, this is Zero at ReviewZoneHD, and I'm bringing you guys a first impressions for Need for Speed Most Wanted Limited Edition. This is the PlayStation 3 version of the game that you're watching, and this is going to be the opening to the game in my first few minutes playing and first race that you're watching. Now, to give a little background on my own coverage of racing titles on my channel for those that just subscribed recently or for those that are just dropping in, back at the end of March and the beginning of April, I covered over 20 racing titles. I did reviews for both Need for Speed Shifts, Hot Pursuit. Last year I did a first impressions for the demo of The Run, which I never ended up buying. But most importantly, when I lined up all the racing titles I covered during race week, which later became race month, I placed 2 Need for Speed titles in the top 3 in the top 25 countdown, with the original Shift coming in at number 3, Burnout Paradise at number 2, and I put Hot Pursuit as the best out of the bunch that I reviewed. Now, the reason I'm mentioning all this is because I'm immediately seeing some similarities with both Hot Pursuit and the Burnout Paradise title in this game. And if you were going to import features from other racing titles, those are 2 pretty good games to start with. And what you're watching here in the beginning of this video is my first time driving down the street on here with no practice, no warm-ups, and the controls just felt spot on from the moment I began playing. And that really speaks volumes about a game like this. If you have to adjust to the way the game handles, then it's probably not handling that good if you've spent much time racing on video games. But when you can maneuver and hit corners and really get it going without smacking into walls and stuff, then that usually means the game handles pretty well, and I feel like that's the case with this one. I will say the controls are a bit sensitive, as in the cars really take notice when you give any movement on the sticks, and that's not necessarily a bad thing at all, especially once you get good with the game. In comparison, there's other titles out there like Blur, which I also reviewed. It's a great game, but turning a corner on that title feels like you're trying to corner in a dump truck. But the cars on here, they feel a little bit looser than what they did in Hot Pursuit. The handling more closely resembles Burnout Paradise. Graphically, this game looks pretty impressive. It doesn't have a cartoonish look to it. It actually looks like what a city should. It's definitely sporting the best graphics I've seen out of the Need for Speed series. Now, one thing I noticed are the streets are large enough that it feels like you really have some room to work with, to move around in, and everything in this game feels a bit larger than life, more than what you would see in most racing titles. Gives you a more close-up and personal feel. As far as the frame rate goes, which a lot of people put a focus on that with racing titles, it looks pretty good from what I've seen so far. I haven't seen any slowdown or stutters in it, but I'll definitely keep an eye out for that as I'm working towards the review later down the road. But so far, haven't seen any technical issues to talk about. Another thing I noticed is there's a lot of destructible objects on the sides of the streets, and the few wrecks that I've been in so far rival what was seen in Hot Pursuit. The physics of the actual crashes look realistic, and they're violent enough to really make you cringe when they happen. It definitely carries some punch to it. Now, if you didn't watch the unboxing video that I just uploaded, this game supports custom soundtracks just like Hot Pursuit did, which is very awesome. One disclaimer that I have to mention about my commentary in both this first impressions, any more upcoming videos, including the review, if I post it before the game releases. I'm able to criticize and give judgment on this game in my commentary, but I'm not allowed to advise if this game's worth buying or not because it hasn't released yet. So if you ask that question, I can't answer or talk about that in the commentary or in the comments. Not a big deal, but I just wanted to get that out there because a lot of times when I do a first impressions, that's a question or comment that gets brought up. Now, if any of you guys have specific questions or want to see something in this game, just comment below and I'll see what I can do. I'm going to have plenty more coverage coming up for you guys over this weekend. This is Zero at ReviewZoneHD, and thanks for stopping by.